It's moving. It's you. Okay. I want to thank. Thank the Rabbi Shalom. I want to thank for any time Kamash Gacha Pratis Kala Loshin Rabbi Yosef Yapti. I want to thank the Rabbi Shalom. If you notice, my voice has seen better days. For the moment, right now, I walked into class today without the voice. What's a Rebbe without a voice?
Recess.
No, what do you have? Recess. I learned more than any other day without the voice. Today I went through the entire Haggadah Shel Pesach in one day. And the kids, it was unbelievable without the voice. No. Now, the Eibishter helps. The Eibishter took away my voice. There was a good reason. And it's coming back. Be'ez Hashem, Alts is men Hashemayim, Alts is l'teva, Alts is asimcha, Alts is gevaldi. Now, first of all, we have a rule, Toiv, Pam achas betzar mimea pam belitzar. Now, this vad is worth 100 vadim. Whenever my voice cracks in the middle of saying Zmiris on Shabbos, and especially if I'm singing in front of a big crowd, and suddenly the voice cracks on me, and I'm singing a beautiful niggun, and suddenly, boom, it's not working. I say, Toiv pam betzar mimea belitzar. Eibishter, thank you. You know what you're doing. Now I want to tell you, my father's was nifta in his shiva. Somebody walked over to me and told me that the later years of your life is by far more chashiv than the earlier years. For the reason if I heard correctly, because you can't smile the way you used to, you can't talk the way you used to, you can't learn the way you used to, you can't daven the way you used to. And because it's betzar, and it's not really so, that gives you much more schar. And that's one of the reasons I would venture to say why HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes people lose so much on the way out of this world, is in order to give them much more schar. Because Hashem loves us. But us Bali B'tachon believe that everything's a momayver. Yeah, I'll be back to normal very, very, very soon. Not only back, but better than ever. That's what I'm expecting. That's what the Bali B'tachon. We're in our own world. Bali B'tachon don't get old. They don't lose voices. It's nothing. It's coming right back. That's the way we operate. We are constantly on the positive mode. Every minute of the day, as we walk, something bad happens. The more daigas, the better. Every daiga means an opportunity for betachon. What do you have? Holachma anya, this poor bread. Thank you so much. This poor bread, a whole lachem sha'aynin olive. Why is that broken piece so? Because you remember what it's like when it's bad, and you appreciate things are good. You gotta always have in mind the bad days. You gotta always eat more your whole life. Remember, you went in the hospital and you got out. You forgot already. Remember, you're ready to, who knows what, one of your kids was having who knows what, and suddenly everything turned around. You forgot. You can't forget the bad parts of your life. The mar is alive and well. It's got to be there. We eat the mar to remind the bitterness. You got to remember how scared you were when you got that phone call from the doctor. He scared the living daylights out of you. Don't forget that phone call. You had a Yeshua. If you don't remember the phone call, you don't appreciate the Yeshua. You must remember all the bad times of your life. It's more important than anything. That's why us Jews, The whole Haggadah is sitting on a broken piece. That broken, remember the broken stuff. You got to remember the bad part. I'm thankful see here, look, my thing now is no voice. It's not so bad. I think it's probably better than usual. I think it's dafka good. I think, something tells me my voice is becoming rich and full and I'm getting more and more powerful. That's my feeling about what's going on in my life. That's the way why should I become one of these stressed out guys? I think it's going great. So the guy would say, Mendel, you're in denial. And I say, my dear friend, I'm always in denial. That's the way I exist. I'm always in denial. You ever hear Rabbi Miller's The Artificial Man? He was in denial, saying good things that weren't true. I do this all my life. I'm in denial. It's a shtick. When you're in denial, you're working on bטחון. That's what you're doing. You're going to get schar for denials. By the Goyim, face reality. You have to know. I once heard this. I don't want to say chas v'shalom. Man darf sich nicht abnahren. You're not allowed to fool yourself. Some people, a guy was whatever he was, and he said, you can't fool yourself. You got to face reality. I have one reality. The Abishter can do anything. That's my reality. The other stuff is, come on, don't bore me with this stuff. Some people like problems. I don't have no problems. Now, somebody called me up, and he's very depressed that Reb Chaim Kanevsky was nifta. He calls me up, he's crying, Reb Chaim Kanevsky's nifta. I had a few calls like that. One of them, some yeshiva bachrim just before Shabbos, they called me up. I barely knew about it myself. And they were crying on the phone. How do we go into Shabbos? And we just heard the news. Reb Chaim! I was so impressed. I said, the schus of the way you feel about Reb Chaim is such a schus she'ein kamayim. Now I got another phone call. Another depressed guy. He's hearing all the hespedim about Reb Chaim, and he's getting every hesped he hears, he gets more depressed than the last one. Why? Because he's a serious guy. Some people, they hear stories of Reb Chaim, he got something to say over, which is a mitzvah. But some people, when they hear about what Reb Chaim was, they say, no. Where are you? Ayeka? How come you're so far away? Do you know what Reb Kalman Krom was nifta? I was approached by Young Light with the same problem. Reb Kalman was very charismatic and he's a gibar, and he used it in the right way, but you couldn't follow his act so easily. People got depressed. Kalman! You know what he did? His learning and his precious, his madregas. He used to tell people, don't try to copy me, bug off. And people, you can't. How are you going to be Reb Chaim? You go, Meshuga. So I say like this. I didn't want to say it in public. I'm going to say it right now, right here in publicly. Ilui nishmas Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim wants me to say this. I guarantee you, he's sitting in Gan Eden. He wants someone to say this. And he's smiling down here. So, Mendel, you're the only one that understands what the Ilum has to do around here. Before you masbet Reb Chaim, and keep doing it. I get so much inspiration reading about Reb Chaim. Wow. I can't get over it. There's another story. They're delicious. They're just gewaldig. But I kinda, before you continue, I told my wife, don't throw out the Yated. There's a whole book about Reb Chaim. I got to see the whole thing. And thought, Reb Chaim, I want that. I want Reb Chaim. I want to get it. Because I want it. But then I don't know, I'm maybe a little different than everyone else. But I say, before you maspid Reb Chaim, make sure you maspid yourself. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to get more phone calls of depressed people. They're getting depressed every time they're masbid Reb Chaim because they forgot to be masbid themselves first. They look at it like that's what I could have been, and it didn't happen, and therefore I'm a nobody. Another proof that I'm nobody. So Reb Chaim's P'tira caused so much depression in Klal Yisrael. Oh, the serious people are all getting depressed. Where are you? First of all, I don't want to say to this fellow, getting depressed over this is a big schus. Even though it's not practical and it's not true. Everybody's different. Maybe he does not want you to be Reb Chaim. He wants you to be someone else. And the way you're doing it's fine. Who knows who's big in the next world. But, I mean, everybody's big, but you can't make away with yourself. So don't, but I would definitely, no? Am I good? I would definitely believe that every yachid should write a whole drasha about himself. Write a hesped. Make believe you are just nifta. And they're writing up about you in the yated. I already said a long time ago that my father, Zatzal, gave a tzavah, please don't be maspid me. And I told Rabbi Yosef Rosenblum about it, and he said, you could write on the kever. The kever didn't write as much as they could because of that. So he said, write, that's the greatness of your father, that he didn't want a hesped. Write that. He didn't want. Now, I say, if you don't mind, Rapapa Basra. You know, Rapapa is my man. Abai and Rabba were the giants of Klal Yisrael, but suddenly Rapapa comes along and he's got a whole new mahalach. And not only he has a new mahalach, he is machriya yet. Who are you? Compared to Abai and Rabba, Rapapa was pretty big, but because Basra, a later dar has to speak for the later people. Our dar needs first a hesped on yourself. And write a long one. Now I said, when Mietz Hashem, I may invest I'll be here a long time, Be'ezah Hashem, with my voice back and everything normal, better than ever, Be'ezah Hashem. But when I pass away, I have already given instructions. I gave my tzavah to all my friends, all those people who are going to make a spadim about me, Lachem Evesim. If they ever get into, I'm just advising them. You know, I'm not getting involved. You know, when you're going to be talking about me, I'm not going to be available for, you know, to help you out and anything. I'll be gone in the next world, Be'ezah Hashem. So I'm going to tell you right now, preempt any problems that you may come across while you maspid me. Just in case you don't have enough material, I have plenty of stuff. So I'll tell you more good stuff about me that maybe you never knew about. And I'm going to go strong like crazy. And I could go on and on and on forever. My greatness, forget it. There's no one like me. There's a famous story with a big Hasidic Rebbe. Who was it? Reb Chaim Tzanzer was nifta? Who was it? Oh, the Chayzer. The Chayzer, one of the two, was nifta. So when he was nifta, the whole place was depressed. All the Hasidic Gdolim of the time, they couldn't deal with it. He's gone. So they're all very depressed until someone got up, one of them got from the big giants of the Chassidish Rebbe. He says, I don't chop the problem. What are you tiny? He's not here. So what? You have me. I'm a goon. I'm a tzaddik. I'm a kudish. It's a famous story. So that's my story. I relate to that one. That, I forgot his name. That's my mahalach. What? You got me. What's schlecht? I'm big? Well, I don't help you. I'm Givaldi. What are you doing? Now, I want to tell you, Yosef Leib tells her, when he was nifta, when a big gadol was nifta, so all the gedolim got together, and they said, Rabbi Yosef Leib, we don't know, we can't. How are we going to deal with this? All the gedolim are gone. And you know what he said, Rabbi Yosef Leib tells her? He said, Kishem shein shir lama'ala, just like there's no end to the greatness of the previous, ein shir lamata, there's no end to being a nobody under us. So Einachinami, the big ones are gone, but there's plenty of small ones that were bigger than them. So it's nicht gefährlich. That's what he said. Hey, shield, but I have a problem with that because even though I'm taka great, I mean it. I'm I'm a serious person, and especially when they talk about my greatness. I'm 100%. I am erlicha, bench. I don't lie. I don't do that stuff. I'm emes. I say the truth. I know I'm gewaldig, and that's a fact. You know, I'm not going to start lying. I don't need to exaggerate because I'm so great. I'm just murdik. There's no words. But me being less than me, there's a problem a little bit because I hold that the guys are so great that we're pretty close, all of us. How's that? So now I was not nechshel and gaiva. You know the famous Maisa with the Amshina Rebbe? The guy came to the Amshina Rebbe. He said, I have no shalom bayis. He says, what's wrong with your wife? He said, my wife's a balgaivanik. She thinks she's gewaldig. She thinks she owns the world. So the Amshina Rebbe asked him, what does she think about other people? He says, she thinks they're great also. So he said, that's not gaiva. It's not gaiva. It's over. She's fine. So I'm like that lady. Like, you know, I'm great, but, you know, Rabbi Miller gave me that chinuch. I'm gewaldig, you're gewaldig. But I may spend more time, my waking hours, focusing on me. And because then I'll steig more. If I'm going to be focusing why everyone else is great, that's not healthy. Don't do that. I'm telling you, Reb Chaim Kanievsky, Zeichet Tzaddik V'Kodesh L'Vracha, is maskim that you spend, take a chunk away, read one page less of the Yated, and write a page about yourself. Le'ilui Nishmas Reb Chaim, I'll have nachas, I'm telling you. He wants you also to become a gadol in your own way. And I must say the story of Rabbaran. You've heard it 258 and a half times, at least. But it's not enough. It needs chazorah. When somebody told Rav Hutner, told Rabbaran Kotler Zatzal about a relative of Rabbi Shur Leib Diskin, that the relative was told by Rishul, they didn't want to do a shidduch habacha with shvach and learning, but he was a masman. Rishul like Diskin said, take the bacha, don't worry, because kol hamakayim to return me oini, soivel kaim mi yosha. Right now, oini means a das. Also, so he's oini a das, tomorrow hushtay. That's the end of the story. Rabbaran Kotler heard the story, he burst out crying. Why did he cry? He said, I was always about kitchen. I never had a struggle in learning like that person. If Rabbaran cried that he wasn't one of us, we couldn't be that bad. That's the best story, and it's the only story that Rav Hutner Zatzal told over in Rabbaran Shloshim. I was sitting there, and 360 Stone and Pitkin. That's what Chaim Berlin used to be. The place with the leaky basement. I don't know why there was Slobodka. There were guns fine leaky just like my steeple. I don't know why. How that Slobodka, I don't know. I think they had the Vartiga streaks from way back. There was a dump. Forget it. 360 Stone was terrible. It was, I want to tell you, the Shechina was in that place, by the way. I loved Chaim Berlin. Rav Hutner should have a lichtig Gan Eden. What I hope, Rav Hutner. And Yibod Chaim, he has a Talmud. Rabbaran Shechter should live till 120. I have no words of admiration. And I am very close with some others. Rabbaran Feldman, Zohar should live till 120. Rav Hutner, Chaim Berlin. But the only kasha is, what's Slobodka doing with Novandiga leaks? That's my only question on them. I'm joking. Anyway, it was an old bank. That was a matzah, by the way. All kidding aside. Okay. I got a phone call. I got a phone call now. I'm getting a lot of phone calls lately. I'm getting a phone call of a younger man that had terrible shalom bias problems. And he called me up to tell me it's disappeared because of me. I gave him one bracha and it's gone. It's just gone. His shalom bias is gone. His self-esteem is up. And what happened? He says, I'll tell you the truth. I listen to you 24/7. It could be, by the way, these brachas work only for people who turn me on 24/7. I don't know if it's going to work for the rest of the world. But these two calls I got today are people that are heavy into Rabbi Golambek and Rabbi Mendel. They're into us big time. They're always, shh. This guy told me, even when I'm not listening to you, you're in my head all day long. And I says, what part of me is getting you so excited? So he told me, the part of you that tells you to fop on the world. You changed my life. I was a meek, weak guy, scared of everybody, especially my wife. My wife scared the daylights out of me all my life. And now, whenever she opens her mouth, I say, Hashem Amalek Hallel. It's not her, leave her alone. So I get along fine. I know a younger man who didn't have a child for 6 years until he called Mandel. And Mandel told him, I don't even think I told him anything. I did give him a bracha. Yes, I did give him, but I wasn't the only one. I don't know why he's giving me so much credit. He watched me. He used to fight cats and dogs with his wife until he watched me. And I keep saying, it's not your wife, it's the Eibishter. And as soon as he started doing it, so the next time his wife yelled, it went over his head. Oh, Eibishter, you're upset with me. He didn't even look at her. Oh, Eibishter, this. And she caught on, and she stopped looking at him. And whenever he got angry, so somehow the fight didn't do well when every guy's not really involved. Like both of them are really not part of the fight. Like, he's not my wife. What do you want from her? Hashem or my Lord Kalo. And he did this. She did, I promise you, 9 months later, they had a baby boy. Because, how do you like that one? Anyway, now, so this younger man told me the same thing today. His whole shalom bayis turned around, and he walks in the street full of simcha. He used to be afraid of everybody. Now he's gewaldig. Here comes another story. There's another body. This story happened a long time ago. And it happened, as usual, in New Zealand. Anyway, a Chassidish girl in New Zealand. Are you sure they do that over there? Okay, whatever. I hope we'll work it out. What really happened. Anyway, but it's a true story. I got a message. It's a true story. Even though, some of the details we got to work out a little better. 15 years ago makes sense, yeah. Anyway, so what happened in New Zealand? This is what happened. I got a phone call. The mother calls me up. A 32-year-old girl who wants a Ben Torah at 32. She's going nowhere with Shidduchim. No one's getting near her. Thanks a million. No one's getting near her. She's 32. A Ben Torah? She was told by all her friends, Pe Echad, it's not happening. Then Mandel got involved. They called Mandel. And Mandel said like this. The mother called me up. I myself, I'm going to say, now, I don't want to tell them how I felt when I gave that bracha. Well, after hearing the way the mother sounded about the whole matzav, there's more stuff going on. I said, oh boy, this is like even Amayda, it's not happening. But, positive lies. I said, your daughter is a kala. Now, the lady told me later on, I didn't believe a word you said. So I said, so how did this happen? I'm wondering myself. How did it happen? She's married. You know, the girl's married already. The mother called me up on the way to the chuppah, and he got another bracha. 2 months later, she was engaged. She got a Matsuyan Godel Adler Shemayim. She got way better than anybody. A Ben Torah first class, a Maspin, a Tzaddik. Look at all her friends. They were ready her divorced and this and with 5 kids. Would you like maybe 3 kids might be easier for you? You know, they were huddling in a different world with her. A Ben Torah, you serious? You know, they thought she was out of her mind. Now, her mother told me 2 things, very interesting. Her mother told me that the girl, as soon as she told the girl that Mendel said that she is a Kala, she lit up. So I said, if she can light up, after hearing that, now I know the answer. But listen to this. I says, how does she know Mendel? I never saw her, I never saw the mother, I never saw the father punkt I know. I don't know these people. But so she tells me, my daughter, she listens to you 24/6. The Golumbek, between Golumbek and me, she goes, you know, and not only that, she said the only time I ever missed, they're both into me, like big time. The only time they missed was the chasana. They apologized during the chasana. We just couldn't listen. I know that you imagine how religious they are in listening. You know, if you have more mussar, things really work. You can do the same thing. You did it only 200 times, do it another 100. Watch. Now it's going to happen. The same pasuk. Say it another 100. Watch what. Now new world opens up. These are heavy duty, these chevra. But the mother told me, I did not believe it's going to happen. My daughter was extremely positive. It sounds like she's a hush of a girl too yet. I got calls from all the neighbors. They all heard about it. And all the 33-year-old single girls in the whole community are calling me up, I promise you. Mendel, how'd you do that? No, what about me? They're all upset with me. You know, once one wife gets out, you're killed. You know, they're on your case forever. The Baal Meifus is here. So Baruch Hashem, the Eibush is so good. I'm so happy with this girl. I'm up here. Then I got another call. I got a call from a younger man whose wife, whatever, there's no relationship. It's bitter vigal. The husband ran away from the wife. He had enough. He had enough of her. She had enough. It was adkan. And they're coming back. What are we going to do? I just want to tell you what I did. I remember I spoke to her. I says, write nice stuff about your husband. In one day. Just write, you know me. You know what I've done for people with this? You want to take an addict and make him normal? Try it. You know what I once did? The Kaddish Baruch Hu, a lady in Eretz Yisrael calls me up. Her son quit yeshiva, never wants to get married, sits all day. One of those, you know what's. That's his life. Boom, boom, boom. Addicted. Mendel, what should I do? I says, you know what you're going to do? And her husband's very depressed too. It's a whole matzav over there. You know what you're going to do? Every time you're going to see your son do something nasty that you don't like, you're going to say, Mendel said, Adarabba. Rabbi, I don't know if you want to do it right. I'm going to give you the nusach she used. She didn't say Mendel. She said Rabbi Mendel. Maybe you got to do that. I'm not sure. Some people say if you throw in Butzina Kadisha, then it really works. Or you throw in Agayna Tzadik, then you're going to have to. I don't know. I don't know the rules. But I'm telling you, this is a true story. I'm not making this up. She said, Rabbi Mendel said he's going to be perfect. Every time she sees him going over to that machine that used to make her like this, she started laughing. Oh, Mendel said, Pum paket. He's with a black Gemara, you know, different matzav. Every movie made negative, she said, now I know for sure the other way. Listen to this. After 1 week, this guy goes to a therapist, he lives by, he moved in. This guy, he doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to go to yeshiva, he's addicted to the machine, he's one of those. And the therapists have a good time with him. They make money on our share. He's great, for them, he's perfect. You can go on forever with him. And the money rolls in, and yeah, he's addicted. Well, we'll try to help him. I'm joking. There's a lot of nice therapists out there. Anyway, but this is, the mother told me this. The therapist said he didn't believe his ears. After 1 week, the guy said, Ma, I think I decided I'm getting married. Now, I don't know the guy, I don't know her, I don't know her husband. Her husband became happy. He's a depressed guy. He used to get on the phone. Now he gets on the phone. Her working somehow affected the whole matzah. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so the kid is suddenly became, the therapist didn't believe it, that this guy should suddenly decide to get married. That's Aleph. 2 weeks later, he decided he's going back to yeshiva. And they lived happily ever after. I never heard again from them. They don't call me much. Some people call, some people not. Now, I want to tell you something. People call me a lot to say thank you. I get a lot of those calls from the day I asked for it. I used to get 0 of that stuff. I never knew what happened with my bracha. And I daven. I don't speak to people. Never. Well, I say he called me up with the good news. But I don't know. This Rebbe that wants to hear, let's hear the good side. But I was told the Yebishter, I want to hear the good side. I want to hear when things are better. The day I said it, I got 4 phone calls just to say thank you. Yeah. Adayim. That was 2 years ago. Adayim, they're always thanking me. Now, I want to tell you something. You want to prepare for Pesach. Now it's going to be very nasty. You see, the guys want to be here. When I'm finished with this, they're going to say, uh-oh, Mendel. There used to be a guy that sat right here next to Aaron Pesach. He's a real sweet, almost as sweet as Reb Aaron Pesach, a real sweet guy. And he told me that Mendel, if you say they should learn Musar an hour a day, you lost them. Say 10 minutes, maybe they'll listen. Don't say an hour, you're crazy. But some people never learn, and I'm one of them. And I'm going to say something now. If you want to listen, go listen. You don't have to. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm telling you. You want to have a Pesach? You want to have a Pesach? First, I'll tell you about my Rebbe Rebbe. On Pesach, he turned into a matzah. His wife told me he liked Muddik matzahs. And he liked the plenty of Torah, plenty of spring cleaning, everything good. But the thing is that the thing about him is that learning Musa on Kniya, on being a 0, on being a matzah, not eating matzah. You know why you eat matzah? You are what you eat. Why do Goyim have bad midos? You eat wild animals, you become like them. They say the French people, the reason why they're so low life more than others, because they eat shiratzim. That's what the Welt says. In fact, there's a whole write-up recently that all over the world they decided eating shiratzim should be in. We have to get the Olam to eat shiratzim because there's a lot of protein in shiratzim. You can get all your protein diet, get it all in grasshoppers. You go fresh, caterpillars, go enjoy. Ants, go eat centipedes. Enjoy life, Eat everything disgusting. Go enjoy it. The French, they say, eat a lot of that stuff. That's why they're such low lives. That's what the Welt says. Well, you are what you eat. Now, when you're eating a matzah with hope, matzah is flat. It's anivistic. Chametz is blown up al-gaivanik. By the way, I have aura. the matzah has to be potential one of those, or else it's, so you have to first have a little, okay. And all year round you're eating chametz, so now we'll do matzah. Then, like Chavis always says, you want to be an honor, first be about gaivanik. So first, now we'll push it down, it's going to be perfect. So when you eat matzah, we hope it's going to go into you and it's going to make you more anivistic, because that's what it's all about. Lechamayni, it makes you. Rabbi Isa, what he does, Rabbi Isa learns hours. Sharakniya. Yaimamoves. Oh no, what did I do? Mandel, Yaimamoves. They're going to get depressed. You know how to talk about Yaimamoves. Do you know in the Novhardok yeshiva in France, it's probably you never saw happier kids in your life. In the summertime, I don't know, during the year, the entire Friday, they spend about 2 hours just Yaimamoves. And they're super happy. You'll see. In Novhardok, they told us, you know why people are depressed? They're not depressed because they're worried about Gehenna. That's not the problem. They're depressed because they're worried about their COVID. That's what really gets. Worrying about Gehenna, it's not so advisable to live in that too much. But these guys do it. They're happy. I heard, what's his name? Yisrael Chaim Kaplan. He was the son-in-law of Rabbi Rucham. Ramot Schwab told this to me. Why was he picked as Rabbi Rucham's Adam? There were better people than him. And he told me the official reason was he used to learn an hour a day Musa in the mirror, an hour a day. And the first 10 minutes, he was Matzaya Gehenna. And in being Matzaya Gehenna, he was number one. He knew how to do it. That's why Rabbi Rucham picked him as an Adam. I heard him one time speak at Rabbi Malin's Shloshim. It was in Beis HaTalmud. I heard him speak. There were 3 speakers. He was by far the best speaker. He was delicious. He was a great speaker. And his face was shiny with simcha you can't imagine. That's the man that spent 10 minutes a day imagining Gehenna. And he was super happy. I don't know. I don't recommend. I don't do it myself. But it's hard. It's good to hear such a thing. But anyway, so Rabbi Isa, what did Rabbi Isa do? He made himself into a matzah. And over Pesach, he was like this. I was once in his house, and he always spoke very edel. He said he worked hard on that edel. You got to be like a sheep. You know that. Why do you take a sheep? You have to be a mush. Don't be, like a Yokomavi, like a, so get up, Dad. Come on, Dad, get up, get out of your seat, You got to be edel, like Yaakov, a Koko Yaakov. You have to be a shepsala. You're supposed to be edel. That's why you eat sheep, you know that? We're hoping you'll be a sheep as another. Not a lion, sheep as another. That's why you eat sheep. That's why you eat a matzah. You have to work on another. Okay, I'm going to kill everybody. Now he's talking about another. Make up your mind, Mendel. All the time you're talking about, suddenly another. Okay, I don't know if I can finish to answer all these questions now. Somehow you got to do both. Another means you don't fight with your wife. That's what another means. Another means you don't get angry. Another means you give in. After that, another also means Yedan lekaf schus. This is a chayvus above, Shara K'niyah, he says this. And another means this, handled with care. You remember your mamavis. That's part of another, by the way. But I know, okay. But there are certain things that's for us. Not getting angry. That's great. Over Pesach, no kas, another, edel. And if, you know what another means? When it's a red light, don't go berserk. That's another. It's a red light. When your wife does something, oh no, Zadie is here. And look how Tzvika is acting in front of Zadie. Does Zadie know that Tzvika just got kicked out of the school? Don't tell him. He's going to go berserk. He thinks he's as big as Nagas. And then the kids are going to get up and with the short pants and with the long payas, they get up and the tits are sticking out with the pekala. Man ishtana halayla, and the mother's sitting there. Bubby, isn't my Gitti doing a good job? What was, I saw Gitti fighting with, oh, well, that's just because, it's really nothing. She has a little AD, or there's some new stuff going on. She has one of those conditions, but it's going to be okay. We're giving medication already. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, she turns to Zadie and Bobby. This is our nachas. And the mother and the father. Did you see how my mother looked when I told her that? She didn't look so good. Oh, no. There goes the whole yum. That's not a... By the way, it's all covered. We got to impress everybody. It's very hard yum. It's a hard yum. You got to impress everybody. You got to make... All the ladies got to have a house. All the ladies get on the phone. By the way, I say Sukkot is a man's yom. The lulav, the esrog, the sukkah, it's his. That's what he is, a halba meshugana. That's the Pesach is when the ladies go berserk. In fact, one of the questions he gave me, how am I supposed to do Pesach with Menucha? I couldn't tell who it was. She was a lady, and she wants to know. She's asking Mandel, go ask the ladies. I'm not one of you guys. I don't know about these things. I'm joking. I know plenty. My wife puts me to work. I'm kidding. Anyway, but I say it like this. I see, so how do you get? So now, I would recommend the common Pesach. Buy your wife a gift. First of all, Rav Scheinberg did not like ladies going to sugar. He wrote a lot about it. They keep asking me this question. I said, go, Rav Scheinberg didn't know from Spain cleanings. Now, I was once approached. A woman came over to me in the middle of my Purim Suda 2 years ago to thank me that I saved her life. Because when I said publicly, bless this mess, I like being sloppy. That's me. I like it. It's cute. I think it's geschmack. I'm not. Now, first, don't do this like atchila. But if that's the matzav, and you're getting a nervous breakdown because is Uncle Chaim also going to be here? Is so and so going to be here? I want to tell you something. Holachma anya, come inside and eat. That's what it means. What are you going to eat? A halba, a lach, a prusa. The worst lachma anya you're giving the guy. Come inside, eat some garbage like I have. Let's eat garbage together. That's what you're saying. It's funny. Isn't it funny? You know why? The message is, we're not particular around here. The house is messy, the food ain't so great. But come in anyway. It's going to work. You don't have to be the Chavetz Chaim to scream that people don't do chesed. Why not? Why don't you do chesed? Because the house got to be just so. You know how much chesed is lost because the house got to look good? You know that? You know how much more? Cut it out. Mendel, stop it. Leave those ladies alone. It's not right. If you'd be in your shoes, their shoes, you'd be the worst of it. That's probably true. But you can't talk like this. But I just want to stick up for all those people that are not so yekis. They're not so masudan. They can't. I told you my famous story. I'll repeat it 200 times. There's a younger man, not from Malikud, who called me up, and his wife has ulcers. And he wants me to help out. So I says, tell me, what's stressful in his life? In her life. There's a reason for those ulcers. They don't come from nowhere. Sure enough, her mother lives around the corner. Our mother's a real boxy, yucky lady. Where you better do what? Hey, what? How come? Hey, the bed? Ooh, what? The house? It's flying. How could you allow? But she's worse than that. She's a yucky, and his wife is not that type. And I'm going to start. And whenever the house is, she visits twice a week, and she comes to inspect the house. And the worst part of it is she doesn't even argue with her. If you're going to fight it out, it's a habitzer. You let loose, you kill each other a little bit. She doesn't do nothing. She's just silence, silent torture. She doesn't say anything. And the daughter, there comes the ulcers, seriously. My mother, she noticed. Did mommy notice? And every time a mother comes in, she gets her ulcers. That's a true story. So I told the guy, now, even though by me, kibbut of aim is Kaddish Kedoshim, and keep respecting that mother, but when it comes to this, mommy, don't tell it to her. Mommy, you're off the wall. You're not 100%, mommy. I'm not gairis you. No kibbut aim. There's no chiyuv to get ulcers for kibbut aim. There's no mitzvah. From that day on, it's years already, she's cured. And the report I got was that the mother, that she views her mother with Rachmanis. She's the Rachmanis. That's something. So anyway, a woman came over to me on Purim, in the middle of my Suda, to say thank you. I saved her life by saying, bless this mess. You're allowed to be sloppy. I got to tell you one story about sloppy. It's a great story. You hear this story? I was on the highway and my car broke down and they needed to get a telephone. And I don't have a cell phone. I need the car was, I was in trouble. It was dark, it was nighttime. I knocked on one door. No. Next door. I looked at the guy with a white dude. Next door. There was a guy, on the highway in New Jersey somewhere. I said, I need a telephone. Who should I go to? I noticed one of those houses looked sloppy. I saw a rusty bike on the lawn. I saw some cinder blocks. I said, this guy is, the steps looked like they needed help. This was falling apart. The window shades were I said, this guy's gonna be nice. I knocked on the door. Can I use your phone? Sure. Because a person that's not so like this, I made that cheshbon. Okay, look, you're allowed to be Masuda, chas v'chalila. You're allowed to be Masuda, but just in case you're not. I have a lot of nice things to say about it. Okay, let's go.